these price tags started updating right in front of me.
Just stick it to your customers just a little bit more.
What a wild concept.
At the start of the 2025 season, you thought thermal drones were the biggest problem. But there's a new challenge in hunting that most people aren't even talking about: algorithms. That's right, the same technology that sets your grocery prices, determines your rent, and even decides airline ticket costs is now starting to influence the hunting world. And if you're not paying attention, it could be shaping your hunt without you even knowing it. Why this isn't a theory. Dynamic pricing and algorithm-driven decisions aren't new. They're everywhere in our daily lives. Airlines, ride shares, streaming subscriptions, grocery apps, even hotels, all adjusting in real time to what they think we're willing to pay. And the data shows it works. Companies using AI-driven pricing strategies report 2 to 5% profit increase and can move millions of transactions more efficiently. If algorithms are already making pricing decisions in billion-dollar industries, it's only a matter of time before hunting-related products, services, and land access start following the same path. This isn't hypothetical. It's a shift happening right now in every industry that collects user data and can control access. Think about your day-to-day life. You've probably already noticed prices shifting without you even realizing it. Grocery apps show different totals depending on your location, the time of day, or even previous buying habits. You check online retailers for a bow sight, and suddenly, the next time you log in, the suggested price is a little higher. Not because the item got more expensive to make, but because the system knows you're likely to buy it. Gas stations raise prices during rush hour, and airlines jack up tickets when demand spikes or when they detect you've been browsing routes obsessively. These are all examples of algorithms using data to predict what you're willing to pay, and then adjusting prices in real time to capture that maximum amount. It's called dynamic pricing, and it's everywhere. And while some of it is completely legal, other times it's in the gray areas of consumer protection, especially when you start considering how much of your personal data is being used to make these decisions. Now here's where it starts to hit home for hunters. The hunting industry isn't immune to this. Gear retailers, lease platforms, tag resellers, any system that collects data about you and controls access to a product or service can use the same technology. Think about bow and rifle pre-orders, premium trail cameras, or hunting leases in high-demand areas. The companies selling these items can analyze purchase history, location, app activity, and even search habits to figure out exactly how much you're willing to pay. And it's not just about making a few extra bucks. The algorithm can optimize prices across an entire region. A lease that used to cost $300 for a weekend could now show $325 for you. Not because anything changed in the land itself, but because the system predicted your likelihood to book and adjusted accordingly. That $25 difference might seem small, but across thousands of hunters and hundreds of leases, that's a massive increase in revenue that no one even notices in real time. Even more subtle is the effect on gear. Popular optics, high-end camo, or electronic calls. If the system sees that you've been browsing these items, it can raise prices slightly for you while leaving other prices lower. It's personal pricing, tailored to your habits, your perceived willingness to spend. And once hunting apps and marketplaces start collecting more behavioral data, when you check maps, set up trail cameras, or interact with the community, these same algorithms could start nudging you towards spending more before you even realize it. Here's the thing, this isn't science fiction. This is what's already happening in almost every other industry that can track your behavior and control supply. And it's coming to hunting, whether we like it or not. The sooner hunters understand this, the sooner we can adapt. Because right now, it's not about who has the best spots in the woods. It's about who understands how the system is shaping what you pay, where you hunt, and even what gear ends up in your hands. So what does this look like in hunting? At first, it can be subtle. An increase in a license or tag fee in one state, higher permit cost in another, or a new rule that changes how much you pay just to put your name in that hat. None of this is computer surveillance pricing yet, and no state today uses personalized pricing algorithms to charge hunters different fees based on your phone data. But the trend toward data-driven fee structures and variable pricing is happening, and the hunting world is absolutely part of that conversation. Here are real, verifiable examples from 2025 and recent legislative sessions. Utah just passed a bill increasing non-resident license and permit fees. Utah's legislature approved Senate Bill 8 this year, which raises fees for non-resident hunters applying for permits to help wildlife management funding. These changes take effect later in 2025. Higher fees for out-of-state tags mean a fairly automatic jump in what some hunters have to pay, and it's directly tied to conservation finance decisions. Kentucky is moving to CPI-indexed fee adjustments. The Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife now uses the Consumer Price Index to adjust license tag, and permit fees on a regular, predictable schedule. That means the price you pay for a deer tag or turkey permit will change over time based on inflation measures, not just flat renewal cycles. This is more transparent than ad hoc hikes, but it still ties fees to economic signals rather than fixed tradition. Montana's legislature approved changes in tag pricing and structure. In 2025, Montana lawmakers introduced bills to adjust tag fees, including specific prices for deer and elk tags. As part of the regulatory reform, these changes reflect wildlife management and conservation priorities, but they also show how state policy can actively reshape what hunters pay from year to year. In Wyoming, lawmakers debated more expensive application and tag systems. The Wyoming legislature has been considering bills that would significantly raise application fees for limited draw tags, meaning even the cost just to apply could increase multiple times over. That's a direct impact on a hunter's wallet tied to legislative priorities. Landowner tag allocation reform is underway in several western states. Wyoming lawmakers are also debating reforms around cap limits on landowner allocated tags, making sure too many tags don't go to landowners and too few to the general public. While this isn't a price increase per se, it does affect overall access and indirectly impacts supply and demand dynamics for public hunters. Here's a key distinction I want to make clear and defensible. There are real legislative actions increasing or restructuring tag permit costs, and states are actively debating how much hunters pay and how those fees are indexed to inflation or economic conditions. But no state today uses dynamic pricing algorithms like you see in airline tickets or grocery pricing on their tag fees. There's no law, rule, or documented system where a tag costs one amount for one hunter and another amount for another based on their data profile. That means the comparison to airline dynamic pricing is conceptual, not literal. The way prices shift is real, but it's driven by policy decisions, budget needs, or indexed economic factors like CPI, not personalized AI pricing systems tracking individual consumer behavior. Even without AI-driven algorithmic pricing in hunting, the trend is clear. State agencies are using data about costs, license sales, inflation, and participation rates to adjust fees and access structures. This is more sophisticated than the old flat pricing model hunters grew up with, and it means your tag and permit costs are no longer static. They're increasingly linked to economic signals and policy decisions. So when we say the system that prices groceries and airline tickets can eventually price hunting access, we're talking about a shift in philosophy and infrastructure, not a claim that it's happening today through hidden algorithms. It's the direction the industry is moving. More data, more variable pricing, and more control by centralized systems rather than simple fixed fee schedules. Now, before we dig deeper into how these systems could affect your land access and tags, I want you to check something out. If you're hunting public land, I just put out a video, 12 steps to success for hunting late season deer. Stuff most hunters miss entirely. I'll link it right here in the corner on YouTube. Watching that next video will give you the field perspective to actually put some of what we're talking about today into action. And if you're serious about getting an edge, I've got another video on this channel where I show how to hunt deer from the ground with a bow in late season. It's crazy how the same algorithms are creeping into both. Watching that right after this will give you a full picture of how to hunt smarter and not just harder. So keep your finger ready to click. The next video on YouTube could completely change how you think about hunting public land this season. And if you guys want to see some other creators that I watch and I'm subscribed to, check out Mobile Hunting Deer and Gear. He's out of Minnesota. It's a great show. And then for you guys down south, there's Public Land Addiction. He's got some great videos on his channel. And then for everybody else, you got the OkayestHunter. If you want to see some dads who are hardcore whitetail hunters, check these guys out. They have awesome videos and one of the best podcasts around, in my opinion. So you guys check them out, give them a like and a follow, and we'll get back to the video. So let's zoom in on something almost every hunter does: buying gear online. When you jump on a retailer's website, whether that's Bass Pro, Cabela's, Academy, or another outdoor store, you're interacting with a modern e-commerce ecosystem that has a lot in common with Amazon, Walmart, and other major online marketplaces. And in those ecosystems, pricing isn't static anymore. Prices move dynamically based on a whole bunch of data. Here's how it actually works in the online world. Retailers use automated pricing software. This isn't just a price once a month. Many systems automatically adjust prices based on patterns they see in the market: competitor prices, inventory levels, how fast an item is selling, seasonal demand, and even broader trends. Amazon, one of the world's biggest e-commerce platforms, literally changes prices multiple times a day. Studies and industry sources show that Amazon's pricing engine can reprice millions of products throughout the day based on demand and competitor activity. Not manually, not by store managers, but by algorithm. That's important because Amazon sets the bar in online retail and outdoor gear. And outdoor gear frequently ends up being sold on Amazon or influenced by its pricing patterns. Web-based sellers for outdoor brands often watch Amazon and other big platforms closely and price price accordingly. And that means gear you're shopping for might shift in price throughout the week, even if you don't refresh the page. Now, here's where it gets practical for hunters. Retail pricing algorithms factor in data like how often an item has been viewed or added to carts, how quickly inventory is moving, what competing sellers are charging, seasonal demand trends, historic sales performance, and sometimes patterns in who is shopping for what. This doesn't mean every hunt-related site knows your name and personal willingness to pay. Not yet. But it does mean the system knows this product is hot right now. Lots of people are looking at this category. The SKU is flying off the virtual shelves and adjust price in response. Even big omni-channel retailers, places that sell both online and in stores, increasingly use this kind of pricing logic. They're not reinventing airline ticket pricing, but they are using algorithmic tools to respond faster to changing demand and inventory data than a human could manually. And this is where hunters start to see the impact. A pair of binoculars might be $3.99 one week and $4.29 the next. Not because the manufacturer raised costs, but because demand data says the product is trending in a certain direction. A trail camera that sits unsold for weeks might get a slight digital markdown. A popular rangefinder could jump a few dollars if it's selling faster than expected or competitors raise their prices. It's not always dramatic, but you're not likely to see quadruple-digit swings overnight like airline tickets. But these changes do happen, especially on big sites and marketplaces. The key is this: as more hunters shop online and use mobile apps to browse gear, the data on what's selling and what's not becomes richer. The data feeds into the pricing system, which responds, usually to maximize revenue and turnover. So let's be specific about what is happening and factual about what isn't happening yet. Real, automated pricing algorithms change online gear prices based on market data. Real, prices can move day to day or even multiple times per day online. Not currently proven. Hunting gear retailers charging different prices for different individual users based on personal data. There's no documented public evidence of that happening yet. Still, the technology that could do that is already widely deployed in modern e-commerce systems, and retailers already have access to a lot of behavior data when you browse, add to cart, or use an account. And the more the hunting industry moves online, through direct sales, third-party marketplaces, and app-based stores, the more it looks like every other category that has adopted algorithmic pricing. That's why experts and analysts talk about dynamic pricing, not as something niche or exotic, but as a standard part of future retail strategy. Now let's talk about hunting apps. onX and Spartan Forge give hunters incredibly detailed maps, land ownership info, and tools for planning hunts. They also include features like deer movement forecasts or GPS-based trail data. Here's the important part. These apps don't automatically show hotspots for every hunter or create artificial crowd maps. That's a myth floating around. What actually happens is this: when multiple hunters use the same layers, forecasts, or trails, human behavior naturally concentrates pressure. The app itself isn't colluding, hunters are. The algorithm simply helps you make smarter decisions based on available data. But here's where it gets interesting. Some newer app features, like deer movement predictions, are a little different. These forecasts are based on aggregated historical patterns, seasonal trends, and sometimes your own activity. For example, if you consistently scout certain areas, log observations, or check the same layers, the system can use that data anonymously to refine predictions about when deer are likely to move. In other words, the app isn't just showing static trail data, it's learning from how hunters interact with it to make the movement forecast more accurate. So if you notice that quiet ridge suddenly seems busier than expected, it's not because the app told everyone to go there, but that new deer movement feature is using real-world data, including patterns from hunters like you, to predict the best times and places to hunt. That means your own data can indirectly shape what that app shows you, and by extension, influence how other hunters move across the landscape. The takeaway: apps aren't creating artificial crowds, but they are subtly using behavior and data to guide smarter hunting decisions. And as these predictive features evolve, hunters who don't understand the underlying data may be surprised by why some secret spots feel less secret than they thought. Now let's dive deeper into these deer movement features. The deer movement forecast in apps like onX or Spartan Forge aren't just guesses. They're built on real-world, environmental, and behavioral data. These apps pull together multiple sources: GPS tracking from tagged deer, historical harvest data, weather patterns, moon phases, and even timber and crop cycles. By analyzing all of this, the app can predict the most likely times and locations deer will be active. Here's the kicker: the app also considers hunter behavior patterns. When you log observations, check certain trails, or interact with specific map layers, the system learns what types of areas hunters are likely to visit and at what times. Combine that with general population trends, and the app generates movement forecasts that are hyper-personalized to your hunting area. Essentially, it's using the same principles as dynamic pricing. The more data it has, the more tailored and smart the predictions become. Think about it this way: if you always check the North Ridge and record deer sightings at dawn, The app can predict that deer are likely to be active there at similar times. But here's why it subtly shifts the game. When hundreds of hunters in the same region use this feature, the system is indirectly guiding hunter traffic. The quiet ridge might start feeling busy, not because the app told everyone to go there, but because everyone is acting on similar data-driven predictions at the same time. Environmental triggers also play a huge role. For example, temperature drops or first frost can push deer to feed during daylight hours. Apps can alert you to those windows. Barometric pressure changes are tracked because deer are more likely to move just before storms. Food sources and crop rotations are analyzed to predict where deer will concentrate. When combined with your personal app usage, the layers you view, the way you log your hunting activity, these forecasts effectively create a predictive map that aligns hunters with deer patterns in near real time. And that's why some hunters swear by movement forecasts. They work, but it also illustrates a subtle point about data and influence. The app learns from you, and in doing so, your behavior can influence hunting patterns across the region without you even realizing it. In short, these features aren't about crowd mapping or cheating you out of a secret spot. They're about leveraging data to predict wildlife behavior, while also indirectly shaping hunter traffic. And as predictive algorithms continue to improve, this will become an increasingly powerful tool, for better or worse, in public land hunting. Land access and leases are another area where data and pricing intersect. Many private land lease systems use online marketplaces that adjust availability and rates in real time. For example, a popular hunting lease could change more if demand spikes in a certain week. That's not speculation. Data-driven pricing is standard in booking systems and real estate platforms, and leases operate similarly. Again, this isn't about sci-fi systems secretly monitoring your life. It's about the tools you already use, apps, booking platforms, and online marketplaces. They can subtly increase your cost or pressure points if the data indicates high demand, just like dynamic pricing in other industries. Why this matters to public land hunters. On public land, the consequences are different but just as real. Hunting pressure isn't dictated by an algorithm, but your gear, strategy, and planning are increasingly influenced by tools powered by data. Trail cameras, property maps, deer movement forecasts, and even online forums aggregate information that every hunter can see. What that means, if every hunter has access to the same predictions or data points, your secret spot isn't so secret anymore. This doesn't make hunting impossible. It just makes strategy and adaptability more critical than ever. Hunters who rely solely on apps without thinking critically may find themselves bumping into the same deer everyone else is seeing. This isn't about fear-mongering. It's about understanding the forces quietly shaping our hunting world. Algorithms, apps, and pricing systems aren't going away. And the more we know, the smarter we can hunt and plan. If you've ever felt like something in the hunting industry just doesn't add up, now you have the context to see the bigger picture. Without panicking, without overreacting, just with knowledge. I want to hear from you. Have you noticed prices, access, or pressure patterns changing on public land? Drop your experiences in the comments. This is a conversation we need to have on YouTube. And if you're serious about public land hunting, make sure you check out my other videos right here on this channel. Every video is packed with real strategies, lessons from the field, and the kind of honest talk you won't find anywhere else. So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and stay tuned, because the next video you click on YouTube could change the way you hunt forever. Knowledge isn't just power. On this channel, it's the difference between a missed opportunity and a harvest you'll remember.